The moment I realized my lifelong ambition might be sacrificed for a relative's dubious scheme dawned subtly, not with a bang, but the quiet shift in my parents' demeanor one overcast Tuesday. Clutching the official letter detailing my acceptance into the prestigious medical research program, the culmination of countless late nights and meager savings, a thrill coursed through me. The San Diego Institute. Just the name felt like the key to a future I'd painstakingly built. "Ilara, we need to have a word," my mother, Clara, began, her voice uncharacteristically tight, a signal I'd come to associate with unwelcome news. My father, David, stood beside her, his usual cheerful expression replaced by a heavy weariness as he avoided my expectant gaze. "My name is Ilara Vance, and this is how those closest to me nearly dismantled my dreams and the relentless fight it took to reconstruct them. Your Uncle Marcus requires the funds," Mother continued, her fingers absently twisting the simple silver band on her finger. "His proposal for the Art Futures venture is sound. He forecasts doubling the principal investment within 12 months. I stared at them, a knot forming in my stomach. "What funds are you referring to?" "The money set aside for your research program," Father murmured, his eyes still fixed on the floorboards. "Every extra hour I put in at the plant, every cleaning job your mother took on. Marcus sees a genuine opportunity here." A dizzying sensation overtook me. Years dedicated to academic excellence, juggling part-time work, witnessing my parents' unwavering sacrifices. The very foundation of my future seemed to be dissolving before my eyes. "Surely this is a jest," I whispered, my voice barely audible. "Please tell me you're not serious." "Ilara, try to view this logically," Mother pleaded. "Marcus possesses extensive knowledge of the market. He understands these things. This venture promises returns that will benefit the entire family." My hands struck the table with sudden force, causing them both to start. I poured everything into earning that acceptance. The San Diego Institute. Do you comprehend the fierce competition for a position there? "Mind your tone," Mother cautioned, a reflex from years past. My tone? That's your concern now. A sound that was closer to a sob than a laugh escaped me. "What about the path I've charted for myself?" A chime from the front door interrupted the tense silence, and my stomach plummeted. I recognized the sound. I knew who had arrived before Mother hurried to answer it. "My dear niece, Ilara." Uncle Marcus's smooth baritone drifted from the hallway. He appeared in the kitchen doorway, impeccably dressed and radiating an air of polished confidence. "Ilara, you seem troubled. Is the pressure of the Institute getting to you?" A fierce urge to wipe the condescending smirk from his face washed over me. I was accepted. "Indeed, my congratulations." He moved as if to embrace me, but I stepped back instinctively. Although, frankly, given the current economic climate, a more tangible investment might serve you better. "Like your enigmatic Art Futures plan?" I retorted sharply. "There's nothing enigmatic about it." He produced a state-of-the-art tablet, sliding it across the table's worn surface. Everything is meticulously outlined. Rare art acquisition, guaranteed resale profits, exponential value appreciation. "Present the guarantees," I demanded. "They're in the final stages of negotiation, but my connections." "Your connections?" I turned to my parents, my voice laced with disbelief. "Are you listening to this? He has nothing concrete." "Ilara," Father finally intervened. "Marcus has a track record, he's family." "And I am not," my voice cracked. "Everything you saved, my chance at the Institute, you're simply handing it over." "Reallocating it," Marcus corrected smoothly. "I anticipate significant returns within a year. You can fund your research then, free from debt." I snatched up my acceptance letter and retreated from the table, from them. You know what? Keep the money. But when this inevitably collapses, don't expect my forgiveness for any of you. Ilara, wait. Mother reached out to me. My name is Ilara. I spun around and fled upstairs, slamming my bedroom door shut. Tears streamed down my face, but through the blur, a resolve began to harden within me. I grabbed my phone and began scouring online for work, restaurant hostess, bookstore clerk, private tutor, anything I could find. My hands trembled as I completed application after application. A gentle tap sounded at my door. Honey, Father's voice, can we discuss how you're discarding everything we worked for? Certainly, let's converse. He opened the door tentatively, appearing older than I had ever witnessed. I understand your frustration. Frustration doesn't even scratch the surface of it. But kinship requires solidarity. Marcus requires this opportunity. I looked at him, truly looked at him. And what of my opportunity, Dad? What of the countless hours you and Mom labored for years? Was all of that, too, for Marcus? He sank heavily onto my bed. We can explore loan options. There are alternative paths. You are correct, I interrupted, returning my attention to my phone. There are alternative paths, and I intend to discover them entirely independently. Ilara, please. He left. After he departed, I gazed at my reflection in the window pane. Tear streaks marked my face, but beneath them, something resilient was taking shape, something determined. My phone vibrated with a message from my closest friend, Liam. Heard what happened. Bringing pizza and job leads. We'll navigate this together. I inhaled deeply, straightened my shoulders, and typed my reply. Bring your laptop as well. We're not merely navigating this. We are going to ensure Marcus regrets ever mentioning art futures. The acceptance letter lay on my desk, the Institute's crest gleaming like a promise, or perhaps a warning. Regardless, I would not yield. Not on my aspirations, and absolutely not on achieving justice. They wished to speak of family? Very well. I would demonstrate precisely what familial loyalty yielded in return. 4 months into this altered existence, fueled by caffeine and pure defiance, my days blurred into a relentless cycle. Morning shifts at the bustling coffee shop flowed into afternoon tutoring sessions, followed by evenings cleaning offices downtown. Sleep had become a luxury I could ill afford. Orders up, Ilara, Maria, the coffee shop owner, called out. I expertly balanced 3 mugs along my arm, years of practice guiding my movements as I delivered steaming lattes to the morning regulars. You appear utterly exhausted, dear, Mrs. Gable remarked, accepting her usual order. Still working those multiple jobs. 3, actually, I corrected, having recently added bookkeeping for a small graphic design firm on weekends. 3 jobs and online classes. You'll wear yourself out. I managed a tired smile. Cannot be worn out if one never ceases moving. My phone vibrated. Mother's 4th attempt to contact me that week. I ignored it, just as I had the others. The bell above the door chimed as Liam entered, right on schedule for our daily planning session. Guess who just obtained information from their cousin employed at the city archives? Liam announced, sliding into our customary booth. Allow me to complete this round first. I delivered the remaining orders and retrieved my break card. 15 minutes, Maria. Joining Liam, I pulled out my well-worn notebook, filled with months of research, dead ends, and fragmented leads. What intelligence have you acquired? Marcus has been moving substantial sums of money between various shell companies, numerous transactions, each just below the threshold for automatic scrutiny. Structuring, I noted, scribbling it down. That practice is illegal. Exactly, Liam confirmed. And furthermore, none of the capital is being directed towards any legitimate art acquisition, unless the Golden Easel Casino is now a purveyor of fine art. My grip tightened on my pen. He is gambling away the funds designated for my research, among other things. High-end suits, lease payments on luxury automobiles, weekend excursions to the coast. The door chime sounded again. I looked up to see my mother entering, and my stomach clenched. "Elara, please, do not leave," she said, approaching our booth. "I merely wish to converse. I am occupied with work." "You are currently on your designated break," Maria called out helpfully. "A traitor?" Mother slid into the booth beside Liam, who offered me a supportive glance but remained seated. "You have been absent from 4 family dinners," Mother stated. "Your father is profoundly concerned." "Is he?" I asked. "Or is his concern directed towards Marcus's failure to repay the money?" Her expression fell. "Regarding that, he has been missing appointments, failing to respond to our calls." "Astonishing," I deadpanned. "The swindler is not fulfilling his obligations." "Do not refer to him in that manner. He is family." "Family does not defraud family, Mother." I retrieved my phone, displaying my banking application. "Observe this balance, $29,150. That is the sum I have accumulated in 4 months, working 3 jobs, undertaking online courses, subsisting on minimal sleep, all because my family deemed some persuasive relative more important than their daughter's aspirations." "We believed? Your belief was misplaced." I rose from the booth. "Now, if you will kindly excuse me, my break has concluded." "In fact," Liam interjected, "we have a scheduled appointment to attend." Mother looked between us with suspicion. "What appointment?" "A medical consultation," I fabricated smoothly. "It cannot be rescheduled." After a brief word with Maria, we quickly exited to Liam's car. He drove us to our actual destination, the office of Attorney Thomas Miller, a specialist in financial litigation. "Are you certain this is the course you wish to pursue?" Liam asked as we parked. "He is squandering the resources meant for my future. I am finished with playing amicably." Attorney Miller's office exuded an air of quiet authority, smelling faintly of aged paper and determination. He listened intently, offering no interruptions, as I meticulously presented everything we had uncovered. "Structuring, gambling, fraud," he finally stated. "You have conducted thorough preliminary work. I desire the full recovery of the funds, with punitive damages. The process will not be without challenges. Cases involving familial disputes seldom are. Leaving my chance at the Institute to mere chance is not an option," I declared firmly. "Whatever measures are necessary." Attorney Miller leaned forward. "I know an investigator, Finn. He possesses a particular expertise in complex financial schemes. However, once we initiate these proceedings, there is no turning back. The bonds with my family were irreparably damaged the moment they prioritized him over me." My phone rang. Father this time. Before I could silence it, Attorney Miller raised his hand. "Answer it. Put it on speaker." With hesitation, I accepted the call. "Elara," Father's voice sounded strained. "Have you been in contact with Marcus?" "No." "Why do you ask?" He was supposed to transfer the initial payment last week. We are unable to reach him." I met Attorney Miller's gaze. He offered an encouraging nod. "Truly, the individual who persuaded you to entrust him with the entire sum intended for my research is not returning calls. I am astonished." "Elara, please, we acknowledge our error." "Yes, you do. And now you will all ascertain the magnitude of that error." I terminated the call, my hands trembling, yet my voice remained steady as I addressed Attorney Miller. "Contact your investigator. I require every detail. Bank records, casino records, every fabrication he has uttered. And once we possess the complete picture, Liam concluded, we will ensure he faces the consequences. Attorney Miller began making notes on his legal pad. I will contact Finn today, but bear in mind, while vengeance may offer temporary satisfaction, justice provides lasting resolution. Why not both? I smiled, picturing Marcus's arrogant expression. I have learned from the most proficient at playing the long game. The oppressive weight of my exhaustion seemed to lessen slightly, replaced by a potent surge of purpose. Marcus believed he had prevailed, but he was about to discover the repercussions of underestimating the wrong relative. The atmosphere at Sunday dinner, Mother's latest attempt at family mending, was thick with unspoken tension, enough to power a small community. "The roast is exquisite, Clara," Marcus commented, slicing into his meat. His costly watch caught the light, likely acquired with funds meant for my future. "Ilara assisted in its preparation," Mother beamed, trying too hard to bridge the chasm. "Recall how you two would collaborate in the kitchen as youngsters." "I recall how he used to pilfer my allowance," I muttered under my breath, spearing a potato. Father cleared his throat. "Marcus, concerning the investment." "A minor delay with the finalization of the contracts," Marcus smoothly interrupted. "Government red tape, you understand the complexities. However, we remain on schedule for the next quarter's payout." "Next quarter?" I set down my fork deliberately. Curious, as that conflicts with the information from the Golden Easel Casino. The sudden silence, marked only by the cessation of cutlery sounds, was deafening. Marcus's smile faltered for a fleeting second. "I am unfamiliar with what you are referring to." "Are you not? Shall we perhaps contact the casino? I am confident they will recollect their frequent patron from last month." "Ilara," Mother warned. "What is she implying?" Father asked, looking from me to Marcus. Marcus chuckled, but I detected the nervous tremor in his voice. "Simply professional engagements, Uncle David. You are aware how these matters unfold. Occasionally, one must entertain clientele." "With my daughter's medical research funding," I finished. "Dad, spare me the act of concern now," I said. "You willingly surrendered everything to him without verifying a single part of his narrative." "I placed my trust in family," Father countered sharply. "And how has that strategy served you?" Marcus abruptly stood. "I should take my leave. Clearly, Ilara is intent on creating disruption." "Remain seated," Father commanded, his voice possessing a hardness I had never before heard. "Explain these visits to the casino." "This is preposterous," Marcus scoffed. "I am not obligated to justify my business operations to a young woman." "I am not a young woman," I stated, retrieving my phone. "I represent your impending consequence. Would you care to review your bank statements? The ones illustrating transfers just below $10,000. That practice is termed structuring, cousin. It is unlawful." The color drained from his face entirely. "You have been conducting an investigation into me." "Someone had to," I replied. Mother began to weep softly. "Oh, please, let us not quarrel. We are family." "Family?" I laughed, the sound devoid of humor. "Allow me to enlighten you regarding family. While he has been gambling away the resources for my future, I have been engaged in 3 jobs. My hands are rough from cleaning. I have not experienced more than 5 hours of uninterrupted sleep in months. Concurrently, he is acquiring expensive watches and taking weekend trips to the coast." "Those trips were business-related," Marcus protested weakly. "Truly, perhaps we should telephone the hostess from the Oceanic Resort. She appeared quite amiable in those photographs." Marcus's face shifted from ashen to crimson. "You are attempting to bluff." challenge me. He grabbed his jacket. I do not have to tolerate this. Uncle David, Aunt Clara, I will contact you tomorrow. Do not trouble yourself, Father said quietly. Simply inform us of the whereabouts of the money. The investment is sound, Marcus insisted. Cease the deception. I slammed my hands onto the table. It is finished, Marcus. We possess complete knowledge. He retreated towards the door. You know nothing, and you lack any means of substantiation. After his hurried departure, silence descended, broken only by Mother's quiet weeping. For how long have you been aware? Father finally asked, his voice heavy. Sufficiently long to assemble a compelling case. I rose, gathering my belongings. Attorney Miller is managing the legal proceedings. Finn is tracing the flow of funds. Miller, our family's lawyer? Mother looked stunned, betrayed. Someone had to champion my interests. Father buried his face in his hands. We ought to have heeded your warnings. Yes, you ought to have. I moved towards the door, then paused. Examine Father's office filing cabinet, the lowest drawer situated behind the tax documents. There is something crucial you must see. What are you referring to? Father appeared bewildered. The documents concerning the agreement Marcus had you sign. Scrutinize your signatures meticulously, both of you. Understanding dawned in their expressions. Mother rushed to Father's office, returning moments later, her hands trembling as she held several papers. David, these are not our signatures. No, I confirmed. They are forgeries, cleverly executed, but ultimately insufficient. Finn discovered the authentic documents during his investigation. Marcus never possessed legitimate contracts, never had a viable business plan, merely a compulsive gambling habit and a family naive enough to trust him. We were not naive, Mother protested feebly. We were endeavoring to assist a family member. And now you can provide assistance by initiating criminal charges. I opened the front door. Attorney Miller is awaiting your call tomorrow morning. Do not disappoint me a second time. Ilara, wait, Father called out. Where are you going? To my job. Some of us actually earn our livelihood. As I walked towards my car, my phone vibrated with a message from Liam. Finn found something significant. Meeting tomorrow at Miller's office. I allowed a small smile, picturing Marcus's panicked countenance. He believed himself so cunning, adept at playing the role of the charming, successful relative, but he utterly failed to anticipate my actions. The quiet one, the dependable one, the one who learned to observe, wait, and meticulously gather evidence. The following day would mark a turning point, and this time, familial ties would not shield him. He has engaged in this conduct previously, Finn declared, spreading documents across Attorney Miller's conference table. His sharp eyes glinted behind his spectacles, on 3 separate occasions to be precise. Other families? Liam inquired, leaning forward. Other relatives? Different jurisdictions, different aliases, yet the identical methodology. Finn tapped a photograph of a younger Marcus in a sharp suit. He identifies relatives with accumulated savings or assets, convinces them to invest in his guaranteed opportunity, then vanishes once the funds are depleted. A wave of nausea washed over me. Why was he not apprehended? Familial embarrassment. Finn smiled grimly. No one wished to acknowledge they had been defrauded by their own kin. Until now, Attorney Miller adjusted his reading glasses. We possess sufficient grounds for criminal charges. The falsified documents alone provide strong evidence. The office door burst open without warning. Marcus stormed in, his face contorted with fury. You deceitful wretch, he snarled, directing his gaze at me. Do you genuinely believe you can destroy me? Liam stepped protectively between us. Security personnel are en route. I am a relative. I possess every right to be present. He turned to Attorney Miller. Whatever fabrications she has relayed to you, they are baseless. Much like your supposed business plan, I stated, meeting his hostile glare directly, or your non-existent guarantees. You ungrateful ingrate. His hand shot out, seizing my arm in a tight grip. You have no comprehension of the forces you are contending with. Release her, Ivy's voice, sharp as steel, cut through the air. Otherwise, additional assault charges will be levied. Security officers arrived, two imposing figures in uniform. Marcus released me, adjusting his jacket with feigned nonchalance. This matter is far from concluded, he threatened. In fact, Attorney Miller stated calmly, it is. Your other victims are scheduled to arrive tomorrow, all three of them. The color drained from Marcus's face entirely. What? Jessica from Boston? Finn read from his file. Michael from Chicago. Sarah from Seattle. Do any of those names resonate? You cannot establish proof of anything. The electronic money trails indicate otherwise, I responded, rubbing the arm where he had gripped me. Did you truly anticipate that I would not defend myself? Security escorted him from the office, his threats echoing down the corridor. Are you unharmed? Liam inquired, examining my arm. I am fine, but we must accelerate our efforts. I turned to Finn. How swiftly can we initiate formal charges? They have already been filed. Law enforcement intends to apprehend him tonight. My phone vibrated. Mother was calling. I answered, placing the call on speaker. Ilara, Marcus just contacted us, shouting about betrayal. What is occurring? What is occurring is the administration of justice, I replied calmly. Check your electronic mail. Finn has transmitted all relevant documentation. The forgeries, the gambling history, the testimony of the other victims. Silence followed, then Father's voice, heavy with realization. Other victims. We are not the first family he has deceived, merely the first to offer resistance. Oh, merciful heavens, Mother whispered. What have we done? You possess the opportunity to rectify the situation, Attorney Miller interjected. Press charges, provide testimony. Aid us in preventing him from repeating these actions. Naturally, we will comply, Father stated firmly. Whatever is required. After the call concluded, Finn gathered his files. He will likely attempt to evade capture. They invariably do. Allow him, I said. Law enforcement has flagged his passport. Astute, Finn commented, handing me a business card. You exhibit promising investigative instincts. I placed the card in my pocket, contemplating the future I was fighting so hard to secure. Firstly, I must complete the research program. Regarding that, Attorney Miller interrupted, your parents contacted me this morning. They are arranging a second mortgage on their residence. What? No, I do not wish for them to do that. They are resolute. And with the civil litigation we are pursuing against Marcus, you should ultimately recover a significant portion of your funds. Liam squeezed my hand gently. You see, matters are resolving favorably. My phone vibrated once more. A text message from an unfamiliar number. You will regret this. Family is meant to protect its own. He is issuing threats against you? Liam stared at the message. We should notify the authorities. Append it to the case file, Finn stated, photographing my phone screen. Each threat strengthens our position. I fixated on the message, recalling Marcus's grip on my arm, the raw fury in his eyes. He had consistently presented a facade of composure and control. Now, the mask had fractured, revealing a darker element beneath. Exercise caution, Attorney Miller advised. Individuals like him are most hazardous when cornered. I am not apprehensive of him. You should be, Finn stated quietly. But that is precisely why we are present. You are no longer confronting this alone. Later, walking towards my vehicle, I observed a familiar luxury sedan parked across the street. Marcus was seated behind the wheel, observing. I met his gaze steadily, refusing to avert mine. Liam appeared beside me. Would you prefer I remain at your residence tonight? No, I will be satisfactory. I unlocked my car door, then paused. Actually, yes. We can review the details for tomorrow's proceedings. As we drove away, I watched Marcus's vehicle diminish in my rearview mirror. He believed he could coerce me into silence through intimidation, but he had overlooked a critical factor. I possessed nothing left to forfeit. He had stripped away my trust, my resources, my parents' faith. But he could not extinguish my determination, and on the morrow, he would ascertain the true cost of that miscalculation. The corridor outside the courthouse hummed with palpable tension. Jessica from Boston sat beside me, nervously twisting a tissue. Michael from Chicago paced near the window. Sarah from Seattle had not ceased weeping since her arrival. Throughout this period, Jessica whispered, I genuinely believed I was the sole person foolish enough to be deceived. We are not foolish, I stated firmly. We are individuals who placed trust in family. He is the only one who should experience shame. The doors to the courtroom burst open. Marcus entered accompanied by his legal counsel, still wearing that ostentatious watch. Our eyes met, and he possessed the audacity to wink. Do not permit him to affect you, Liam murmured beside me. Finn hurried towards us, his footsteps clicking on the marble floor. A complication has arisen. The casino records, they are gone. What? My stomach lurched. How? Someone accessed the system during the night, erasing everything. He cannot possibly do that, Michael interjected. Can he? He possesses connections, Sarah sniffled, her voice thick with tears. That is invariably how he evades accountability. Attorney Miller emerged from the courtroom, his expression grim. They are prepared for us. Inside, my parents were seated in the front row. Mother reached for my hand as I passed, but I continued walking. The sting of their initial betrayal remained too acute. Marcus's lawyer addressed the court first. Your Honor, this constitutes a straightforward familial misunderstanding. My client operated based on verbal agreements. Objection, Attorney Miller rose. We possess written documents demonstrably forged by the defendant. Allegedly forged, Marcus's lawyer countered smoothly. And where are these purported documents? Attorney Miller produced the files. Located precisely here, Your Honor, accompanied by expert testimony corroborating the forgery. And regarding the alleged gambling activities, the lawyer smiled condescendingly. Where is the concrete evidence? The casino records, Finn began. What casino records? The lawyer interrupted. We observe no evidence whatsoever of any gambling. I felt the carefully constructed case beginning to erode. Months of arduous effort dissipating because Marcus had cultivated connections in strategic places. Permission to approach the bench? Attorney Miller requested of the judge. While they conferred, I noticed Marcus discreetly texting beneath the table, a faint smirk playing on his lips. A realization sparked in my mind. Liam, I whispered urgently, the photographs your cousin took at the bank. His eyes widened. He fumbled through his bag, retrieving his phone. Your Honor, I stood abruptly, my voice carrying unexpected strength. I possess additional evidence. Be seated, Marcus's lawyer snapped. Permit her to speak, the judge instructed. My hands trembled slightly as I walked forward. These are photographs of bank statements obtained 4 months ago. They clearly indicate structured deposits intended to evade detection. And this, I swiped to another image on the screen, depicts Marcus at the Golden Easel Casino, dated just 2 weeks prior. Objection. Those images could be manipulated. The metadata remains intact. Finn interjected, examining the photos on Liam's phone. These are authentic, unedited images. Marcus's smirk vanished completely. He whispered frantically to his lawyer. Furthermore, I continued, my voice growing stronger, I request permission to call Jessica, Michael, and Sarah to provide testimony regarding their experiences. One by one, they recounted their ordeals. The same pattern, the same deceit, the same profound sense of betrayal. Marcus's face grew progressively darker with each victim's account. Your Honor, his lawyer attempted again, his voice less confident. These allegations are substantiated by compelling evidence, the judge interrupted sternly. And given the discernible pattern of behavior, Marcus rose abruptly from his seat. This is utterly absurd. They are simply envious of my success. What success? I challenged, my voice ringing through the courtroom. The fabricated business, the mounting gambling debts, the futures you stole? You contemptible little, he lunged forward, but two bailiffs swiftly intervened, restraining him. Order, the judge demanded, banging her gavel. Mr. Vance, control yourself, or I shall have you removed from this courtroom. My parents watched, faces etched with horror, as their favored nephew was physically restrained. His facade of charming composure finally shattered completely. I dedicated everything to this family, he shouted, struggling against the bailiffs. I was on the verge of making us wealthy. You were on the verge of making yourself wealthy, I corrected, my voice steady. We were merely convenient sources of capital. The judge had heard more than enough. Based upon the presented evidence and the defendant's disruptive conduct, I am ordering a comprehensive investigation. Mr. Vance will surrender his passport and remain in custody pending the filing of criminal charges. As the bailiffs led him away, Marcus's eyes met mine one last time. You will regret this, he spat, his voice filled with venom. Family is supposed to stand together. We are standing together, Jessica stated, moving to stand beside me. All of us, united against you. Outside the courthouse doors, my parents approached cautiously, their expressions a mixture of shame and apprehension. Elara, mother began softly, we are so profoundly regretful. We should have placed our trust in you. Yes, I replied, the word hanging in the air between us, you should have. I turned to Attorney Miller. What unfolds from this point? The criminal trial will commence next. With 4 victims willing to provide testimony and the substantial evidence we have compiled, he is facing a considerable prison sentence. Finn placed a reassuring hand on my arm. That offer regarding training as an investigator, it remains available. You possess sharp instincts. I looked at my parents, at the other victims now offering each other comfort, at Liam, who had been an unwavering presence throughout this ordeal. First, I stated, I am embarking on my medical research program. Subsequently, I added, a small smile forming, we can discuss apprehending more individuals like Marcus. Speaking of the Institute, Father said, producing an envelope. The updated funding documents. Everything has been formally approved. I accepted the envelope, but did not immediately open it. Rebuilding certain trusts would require more time than others. Come along, Liam linked his arm through mine. Let us procure some coffee. You appear to require it. As we walked away, I heard Mother call out hesitantly, family dinner on Sunday? I paused, then offered a slight nod. Perhaps, we shall see. It was not forgiveness. Not yet, but it represented a beginning. He has been released on bail. Finn's voice crackled through my phone as I wiped down tables at the coffee shop. An anonymous benefactor posted the bond this morning. My hand froze mid-swipe. How? I understood the judge had ordered detention. Money speaks loudly, and Marcus evidently possesses associates of whom we are unaware. The bell above the door chimed. I looked up to see Liam rushing in, his face flushed with urgency. "Have you received the news?" "Just now." I tossed my apron onto the counter. "Maria, I must depart." She waved me off with a concerned expression. "Exercise caution, dear." Outside, Liam seized my arm. "There is more. Your mother contacted me. There was an intrusion at your parents' residence last night." "What? Are they unharmed?" "They are fine. They were at work, but their home office sustained damage. Father's files are missing." My blood ran cold. The original documents relating to Marcus's scheme, the proof of the falsified signatures, they had been stored within those files. Attorney Miller's copies are already secured within his safe. Liam reassured me quickly. But Alara, a note was discovered. He handed me a crumpled piece of paper. The handwriting was chillingly familiar. Familial secrets should remain confined to the family. My phone vibrated again. Attorney Miller this time. "Come to my office immediately." 20 minutes later, we were seated in Attorney Miller's conference room. Finn paced the floor, while Attorney Miller spread photographs of the ransacked office across the table. "This transcended merely retrieving documents," Finn stated. "It constitutes intimidation. He is conveying a message." "The program orientation is tomorrow," Liam added, his voice tight. "He knows you are planning to address the situation publicly." Attorney Miller leaned forward, his expression serious. "Perhaps we should reconsider your participation." "No," I rose from my chair. "I will not allow him to triumph. Not again. Alara, he is acting out of desperation. Desperate individuals pose a significant threat." "I am aware." I picked up the threatening note, its words burning into my memory. "But I am also desperate." My phone screen illuminated with a text from an unknown number. "Access your email." My heart pounded in my chest as I opened my inbox. A video file began playing automatically, footage from 4 months prior, capturing Liam and me gaining entry to Marcus's apartment to search for evidence. "That constitutes unlawful entry," Attorney Miller murmured, his brow furrowed. Another text appeared. "Withdraw the charges, or this footage goes to the authorities. Remember, family protects family." "He is attempting to bluff," Liam said, though his voice lacked conviction. "He cannot involve the police without admitting the circumstances of our entry. However, he can utilize it to undermine your credibility," Finn pointed out, "to portray you as the criminal." The faint chime of the coffee shop bell echoed in my memory, that pivotal moment when everything irrevocably changed. I retrieved my phone. "What are you intending to do?" Liam asked, his voice anxious. "Engaging fire with fire." I dialed Marcus's number. He answered on the first ring. "Finally prepared to be rational? Let us meet this evening." "Solely us? Why would I agree to that?" "Because I possess something you desire, something far more valuable than those surveillance videos." A brief pause. "Where?" "The coffee shop. Midnight. Come alone." After ending the call, a chorus of protests erupted from Liam, Finn, and Attorney Miller. "Are you insane? He could be dangerous. This is an exceedingly ill-conceived plan." "Place your trust in me," I said firmly. "And Finn, ensure your camera is present." Midnight transformed the familiar coffee shop into a scene from a noir film. I sat in my usual booth, the coffee growing cold, my gaze fixed on the door. Marcus entered precisely on time, his attire still exuding an air of expense, even in casual wear. "This better be worthwhile." "Take a seat, cousin," I said, as he slid into the opposite side of the booth. "Where is it?" "Firstly, let us discuss family." I pushed my coffee cup aside. "You seem fond of that term. You wield it like a weapon." "Dispense with the sermon. What artifact do you possess? Proof confirming your collaboration with an individual inside the casino. Someone responsible for the deletion of those records on your behalf. His practiced smile wavered. You are bluffing. Am I? Examine your email. He withdrew his phone, his face turning ashen as he opened the attachment. That is you, I continued, my voice steady. Meeting with the casino's IT supervisor last week, occurring precisely before the records vanished. A rather coincidental timing, would you not agree? Where did you obtain? I acquired skills from the most adept sources. Familial secrets, is that not the principle? What are your demands? Withdraw your threats. Allow justice to proceed, or these photographs will be transmitted to the authorities responsible for overseeing gambling commissions. He leaned forward, his voice dropping to a low, menacing tone. You perceive yourself as so clever, but you possess no understanding of the true forces you are confronting. On the contrary, I replied, rising from the booth, I possess a very clear understanding. By the way, please ensure you present a pleasant expression for Finn. Camera flashes erupted from the kitchen window. Marcus leaped to his feet, but Liam was already positioned by the door, effectively blocking his exit. Attorney Miller emerged from the back, meticulously recording the entire exchange on his phone. Threatening a witness, he stated calmly. That represents an additional charge to append to the growing list. Marcus's face contorted with rage. You orchestrated this entrapment. Family protecting family, I echoed his earlier words, my voice firm. Except on this occasion, I am safeguarding everyone from you. As the distant wail of police sirens grew closer, I gathered my belongings. I anticipate seeing you at the orientation, cousin. I have prepared a rather significant address. The metallic clink of handcuffs sounded as they led him away, but his final threat pursued me into the night. This remains unresolved. No, I whispered, watching the patrol car disappear into the darkness. But it will be soon. The auditorium, where the research program orientation was held, buzzed with a quiet energy. The lanyard with my name tag, a symbol of my hard-earned place, felt significant around my neck. Peering through the side curtains, I could discern my parents seated in the front row, Jessica, Michael, and Sarah, positioned beside them. Finn and Attorney Miller sat further back, their eyes scanning the assembled group. He won't make an appearance, Liam whispered, adjusting the collar of my jacket. He cannot. It constitutes a violation of his bail conditions. He will be here, I replied, checking my phone. No new messages since the threat received the previous night. Hope you are prepared for your moment. The program director approached the microphone. Welcome, esteemed participants and their families. The index cards holding my opening remarks felt damp in my perspiring hands. This was more than merely an introductory address. It was a moment of reckoning. Movement at the rear entrance captured my attention. Marcus slipped inside, still attempting to conceal himself behind sunglasses indoors, the epitome of a cliché. Our eyes met across the expanse of the auditorium, and a chilling smile touched his lips. And now, the director continued, our newest participant, who demonstrated exceptional dedication and achieved remarkable success while navigating significant personal challenges. I walked towards the podium, my heart pounding against my ribs. The bright stage lights made it difficult to clearly discern the audience, but I could feel Marcus's presence like a chilling shadow. From a young age, I began, my voice resonating through the speakers. My parents instilled in me the principle that familial bonds held paramount importance, that we were obligated to make sacrifices for one another, to offer unwavering support, to place absolute trust in each other. My mother dabbed at her eyes with a tissue, Father squeezed her hand. However, I continued, my voice gaining strength, occasionally, the most difficult lessons emanate from within the family unit itself. At times, trust is transformed into a weapon, and sacrifice becomes synonymous with surrender. Movement registered in my peripheral vision. Marcus was standing, beginning to move towards the side aisle. 4 months ago, the funding designated for my entry into this esteemed program was taken from me by someone I had trusted implicitly. Someone who exploited familial connections to defraud not only me, but others across the country. A ripple of murmurs spread through the audience. Marcus reached inside his jacket. But today does not represent a narrative of loss. I gripped the sides of the podium more firmly. It is a narrative of justice. Cease speaking. Marcus's voice boomed across the auditorium, cutting through the growing noise. He pulled out not a weapon, but a stack of papers. I possess documented proof that she illegally entered my residence. She is the true criminal. Security personnel began moving towards him, but he evaded their initial attempt, brandishing the papers wildly. She is fabricating everything. It is all falsehoods. Is it? I projected my voice, allowing it to carry over the burgeoning chaos. Inform them about Jessica from Boston, Marcus. Relate the experiences of Michael and Sarah. They voluntarily invested with me. They placed their trust in family, I corrected, my gaze fixed on him. Precisely as my parents did, precisely as I did. He charged towards the stage. Attorney Miller rose from his seat, effectively blocking his path. That is sufficient distance. You do not comprehend? Marcus pleaded with the astonished audience. I had every intention of repaying everything. The agreements at the casino, they were assured. The sole element that was assured, Finn's voice sliced through the tension as he stood, his identification badge glinting, was your continued engagement in fraudulent activities until someone finally intervened to stop you. Law enforcement officers emerged from the side entrances. Marcus spotted them and immediately turned to flee. Always attempting to evade accountability, I stated into the microphone, watching him, but you cannot outrun the truth. They apprehended him near the exit doors. As they escorted him away, he shouted back, his voice filled with bitter resentment. You are no longer family. You are nothing. No, I called after him, my voice ringing with newfound strength. I am a participant in the San Diego Institute, and you, Marcus, are under arrest. The auditorium erupted in a spontaneous wave of applause. My fellow program participants rose to their feet, followed by their accompanying families, and then everyone else in the room. Through the moisture blurring my vision, I saw Jessica, Michael, and Sarah embracing each other, tears streaming down their faces, but smiles breaking through. My parents stared at me, their expressions a complex mixture of profound pride and lingering regret. As I was stating, I continued, once the celebratory noise subsided, my voice clear and resolute. Today is not about succumbing to loss. It is about achieving victory. Not solely my personal triumph, but the triumph of every individual who has ever endured betrayal at the hands of someone they trusted implicitly. I held up the official acceptance letter from the Institute. This coming fall, I will commence my work at the San Diego Institute, not because of familial wealth or misplaced trust, but because I earned this opportunity through relentless effort and unwavering resolve. Because when everything was unjustly taken from me, I refused to capitulate. Liam beamed at me from the edge of the stage. Attorney Miller offered a nod of approval. To my fellow participants, let this serve as a reminder. Trust is a precious commodity, fragile and easily broken, but justice is an invaluable pursuit. And occasionally, The most formidable struggles are not waged against declared adversaries, but against those with whom we share the bonds of kinship. Following the orientation, my parents approached me tentatively, their expressions hesitant. "That required immense courage," Mother said softly, her voice thick with emotion. "It was a necessary course of action," I replied simply. Father extended an envelope towards me. "Your orientation gift. It is not a substantial sum, but inside was a check, the remainder of their entire accumulated savings." "I cannot accept this," I protested gently. "Yes, you can, Alara," Father insisted, his voice cracking slightly. "We faltered in supporting you once. Never again." Finn appeared beside us. "In fact, with Marcus's assets currently frozen and the civil proceedings underway, she may not ultimately require it." "Retain it," I handed the check back to them. "Utilize it to rebuild. Construct something founded on integrity." Mother enveloped me in a warm embrace. This time, I allowed myself to be held, returning the embrace fully. "The San Diego Institute has no idea what is about to impact them," Liam remarked, joining our small group, a wide grin on his face. I touched the lanyard around my neck, thinking of Marcus's contorted face as they led him away. He had perceived familial connection as a vulnerability to be exploited. He never grasped that it represented a strength to be cherished and protected. "Prepared to depart?" Liam asked. I looked at my parents, at my unwavering support system, at the expansive future stretching before me. More than prepared. It is time for the commencement of a new chapter. Behind us, the auditorium slowly emptied, leaving behind echoes of aspirations and second chances. Ahead lay the Institute, the pursuit of justice, and the gratifying taste of victory. The steps of the courthouse felt different this time, devoid of the apprehension and uncertainty that had marked previous visits, now weighted only by the sense of justice finally being realized. "Found guilty on all counts," Liam read aloud from his phone as we exited the building. "Financial fraud, forgery, witness intimidation. And let us not overlook the conspiracy charges related to the casino activities," Finn added, a satisfied expression on his face. That IT supervisor provided invaluable testimony against him. Attorney Miller adjusted his tie meticulously. "A minimum sentence of 8 to 12 years, in addition to full financial restitution to all victims." My parents were waiting by the car, their hands clasped, reminiscent of how they were before everything fractured. Mother's eyes were red-rimmed from weeping, yet a discernible smile touched her lips. "The Institute contacted us," she announced softly. "Your comprehensive scholarship package has been finalized, and the funds recovered through restitution will cover the remaining expenses," Father added, his voice filled with pride. "You are fully prepared for the upcoming term." I touched the acceptance letter tucked safely within my pocket, my steadfast talisman throughout this entire ordeal. "It feels somewhat unreal." "Oh, it is undoubtedly real," Jessica affirmed, approaching us with Michael and Sarah by her side. "We all received notification of our settlement payouts this morning. What plans do you have for your restitution?" Liam inquired, addressing the group. "Returning to pursue my education," Sarah stated firmly. "Launching my own enterprise," Michael added with a smile. "A legitimate one, naturally." "Commencing therapy," Jessica quipped, managing a weak laugh that held a note of healing. A sudden commotion near the courthouse entrance drew our collective attention. Marcus emerged in handcuffs, his expensive attire replaced by the stark orange of a prison jumpsuit. Our eyes met as they escorted him towards the transport van. "Ilara," he called out desperately, his voice echoing across the plaza. "We are still family. You cannot simply abandon I walked towards him, stopping just beyond his reach. "Allow me to clarify the concept of family for you, cousin," I said, my voice clear and unwavering. "Family is Jessica having to miss her mother's funeral because you callously stole the money she needed for her plane ticket. Family is Michael losing his home and everything he had worked for. Family is Sarah being forced to withdraw from medical school, abandoning her aspirations to help others. I fully intended to repay everything," he shouted defensively. "No," I stated firmly. "Your intention was to continue running, to continue deceiving, to continue destroying lives. But you failed to account for a critical factor." "What factor is that?" he sneered, his face twisted in defiance. "Family fights back." The doors of the transport van slammed shut, cutting off his response and sealing his fate. As the vehicle drove away, I felt a significant burden lift, not solely from my own shoulders, but from the collective weight we had all carried. "Your parents are observing," Liam murmured softly beside me. I turned to see them standing awkwardly by their vehicle, their expressions conveying a mixture of hope and apprehension. The emotional distance between us felt simultaneously vast and yet fragile, like a thin pane of glass. "Go to them," Finn gently encouraged me. "Some connections are undeniably worth rebuilding." Walking towards them, I noticed the familiar facade of the coffee shop across the street, the place where this arduous journey had truly begun, where I had served countless beverages while meticulously plotting a course towards justice, where I had finally managed to turn the tables on Marcus. "We are planning a celebratory dinner," Mother said hesitantly, her voice trembling slightly. "Nothing elaborate, just—" "The coffee shop," I suggested, a small smile touching my lips. Father's face illuminated with relief and gratitude. "We will attend." I met their eyes, setting a single condition, under one stipulation: no more blind trust. No more invoking "family means everything" as an excuse for overlooking wrongdoing. We will construct something genuine this time. "Agreed," they responded in unison. Inside the coffee shop, Maria had prepared our customary booth. "Your orders are complimentary today, dear," she said warmly. "You have certainly earned it." Liam slid into the booth beside me. Finn and attorney Miller took the seats opposite. My parents settled into the adjacent booth with Jessica, Michael, and Sarah. "To justice." Attorney Miller raised his coffee cup in a silent toast. "To new beginnings," Mother added, her voice filled with quiet hope. "To the Institute," Liam grinned broadly. "To family," I said softly, raising my own cup. "The genuine kind." My phone vibrated. An email notification from the San Diego Institute, confirming my housing assignment. Adjacent to it was a message regarding the investigator training program Finn had mentioned. "Still contemplating it?" she inquired, noticing the notification on my screen. "First," I replied, a sense of purpose solidifying within me, "I will successfully complete my program." "Law school?" Father looked momentarily surprised. "Someone must take action to protect others from individuals like Marcus." I stirred my coffee, the small act feeling significant. "It may as well be me." The coffee shop door chimed as additional patrons entered. Outside, life continued its rhythm. Marcus was gone, incarcerated, yet his influence persisted in the scars we bore, the resilience we discovered, and the stories we now shared. "What, in your estimation, constitutes the most effective form of retribution?" Liam inquired suddenly, breaking the comfortable silence. "What is that?" I asked. "Living a prosperous life," he suggested. I looked around the coffee shop, at my parents, making a genuine effort to mend the fractured bonds, at the other victims, transforming their pain into renewed purpose, at my unwavering support system that had stood by me through every challenge. No, I corrected him gently. The most effective form of retribution is living authentically, with truth and integrity. Everything else ultimately stems from that. Mother reached across the aisle, her hand finding mine. This time, I did not withdraw my hand. I clasped hers. "I am immensely proud of you," she whispered, tears welling in her eyes. "I know," I squeezed her hand, acknowledging the hard-won truth. "I am proud of myself, too." Outside, the crinkled paper of the Institute acceptance letter in my pocket felt different now. No longer representing a dream deferred, but a future undeniably earned. Marcus had sought to steal my opportunities. Yet in his attempt, he had inadvertently bestowed upon me something far more valuable: the fortitude to resist, the clarity to discern deception, and the courage to demand what was rightfully mine. Occasionally, the definition of family is not confined to those into whom we are born. Occasionally, it is a structure we meticulously build from the remnants of betrayal. And sometimes, just sometimes, those bonds forged through shared hardship and unwavering support prove stronger than the ties of blood. Maria brought our usual orders, and the coffee shop became filled with the comforting sounds of conversation and laughter. The taste of victory, I discovered in that moment, was sweeter than any form of revenge, and its flavor was best savored in the company of those who had truly earned their place beside you.